My name is Ava. I'm 32 years old. For most of my life I lived quietly, decently, keeping every rule I was ever taught. I married young to a man who wore suits and spoke in cold sentences. I had no enemies, no secrets, and for many years no real emotions. Until the night everything changed. I was alone. It was nearly midnight. Rain was falling and the lights were flickering in and out. Then, my brother knocked on the door. And what happened after he stepped inside changed everything I thought I knew about loyalty, memory, and love. This is not a story of forbidden sin. This is a story of buried truths. A story of darkness, of trauma, and of the lines we are told never to cross, until life shatters those lines into dust. After the divorce, the house felt like a museum. Too many clean surfaces. Too many ghosts. It had been nearly 6 months since Mark left. He didn't fight. He didn't scream. He simply packed a suitcase and said, "I can't do this anymore." He met me. I hadn't begged him to stay. At first, the silence was a relief. Then it turned into something else. A kind of emptiness that pressed down on you when you tried to sleep. I stopped using the master bedroom. I slept on the couch most nights, wrapped in a blanket that still smelled like the past. I was sipping tea in the dim kitchen when I heard the knock. 3 times. Slow. Not rushed, not desperate. But I wasn't expecting anyone. And when I opened the door, it was Adam. My brother. The one I hadn't spoken to in over a year. He looked older. Wetter. His jaw was rough with a few days' worth of regret. His eyes, dark and tired, searched mine. "Can I come in?" I opened the door wider. And everything began again. Adam had vanished after Dad's funeral. We didn't fight exactly, we just stopped speaking. It was the kind of silence that was loud with pain. He never told me why he left the city. Why he stopped returning calls. Why he ghosted our mother's final hospital days. And now here he was, wet from the storm, staring at me like no time had passed. He stepped inside. I handed him a towel. He moved with hesitation like the floor might collapse. "Long drive," he said. "From where?" He didn't answer. We sat. We sipped tea. We didn't look at each other long. Then he said, "I didn't come just to visit." "Of course not." He leaned forward. "I need to tell you something. About Mark. About why he left." The floor tilted beneath me. "What does Mark have to do with you?" Adam's eyes dropped to his hands. "He came to me. Last year. Before he left. He asked me questions about our childhood." I froze. "What kind of questions?" Adam didn't answer. And that's when I realized there were secrets in our family. Old ones. Covered in dust. And something about Mark's leaving had triggered a memory Adam had spent his life burying. We sat for hours. Adam didn't speak for long stretches. When he did, it was in pieces. "You remember the room under the stairs?" I nodded. "Where Mom kept the Christmas boxes." He exhaled. "And where Dad used to take me when he was angry." A cold wind blew through my stomach. "I thought you were just punished," I said. "I was." He paused. "But it wasn't just yelling. Or grounding." I stared at him. And in a whisper that barely existed, he said, "He hurt me, Ava. More than once." It covered my mouth. "Oh, I didn't know." He continued. "Mark found out. I don't know how. Maybe I said something to him when I was drunk. But he asked. And I told him. And the next week he left you. Why would that make him leave?" I whispered. Adam looked at me. Because he said he couldn't be with someone who kept living in a house built on silence. We both cried. For what was said. For what wasn't. That night Adam didn't go to a hotel. He stayed. In the guest room. The storm outside had turned violent. We lay in separate rooms, awake, both drowning in the same storm inside us. I went to him around 2 a.m. Not for sex. Not for comfort. But for answers. "What else didn't I see?" I asked. Adam sat up in bed. "A lot. We talked. 4 hours. About the pain. The way our family had always smiled in photos but screamed in corners. And somewhere between the tears and the exhaustion, he touched my hand. And I didn't pull away. Because for the first time in years, someone was touching me, not to own me, but to feel me. We didn't sleep that night. But something inside us rested for the first time. The next week was quiet. Adam stayed. Said he needed time. I let him. We cooked dinner together. Watched old movies. Drank wine. The kind of things siblings should have done years ago. And yet, there was something else. One night, after 2 glasses too many, he brushed my cheek. I turned my face. But not away. "I'm not okay," he whispered. "Me either." He leaned in. Close. Too close. Our foreheads touched. "I'm sorry," he said. I nodded. "I know." And then I left the room. Because some lines should never be crossed. Even when love disguises itself as healing. Mark wrote me a letter. It arrived a month after Adam showed up. "I left," he wrote, "because I saw what was between you and Adam long before you did." I dropped the letter. It wasn't sexual. It never was. But it was intimate. More intimate than anything Mark and I had ever shared. Adam knew my past. My scars. My fears. He knew what Dad did to me once when Mom wasn't home. He was the only one who truly saw me. And maybe that kind of closeness looks wrong from the outside. But on the inside, it was salvation. Adam eventually left. He said he needed therapy. Space. Time. I didn't beg him to stay. I simply held his hand and said, "Come back when you're ready." He kissed my forehead. And walked out. That was a year ago. Now I live in a new place. Smaller. Brighter. I see Adam sometimes. We talk. We laugh. And no, we never kissed. We never slept together. But the emotional closeness we had taught me something powerful. That healing doesn't always look clean. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's wrapped in the wrong skin. But it's still healing. This wasn't a love story. Not in the traditional sense. But it was a story of love. Love after trauma. Love between survivors. Love that doesn't fit in a box but still deserves to be seen. If this story moved you, like it. Share it. Comment if you've ever felt alone and found light in an unexpected place. Subscribe for more stories like this, raw, real, and human. Because healing is never simple. But it's always worth telling.